waters are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
Bit earlier at about 7 a.m., a group from the Coast Guard.
Welcome to #PHVote 2013.
Today on Rappler, Senator Miriam Santiago says she has lung cancer. The Vatican appoints a Filipino Archbishop Envoy to the United Nations. And former First Lady Imelda Marcos wants her son to become president.
Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Miriam Santiago, the senator who once said she eats death threats for breakfast, has lung cancer. The feisty lawmaker is known for her legal expertise and witticisms. On Wednesday, Santiago says she has stage 4 cancer affecting her left lung. She says, "I'm not afraid of cancer. There's nothing I'm afraid of." While her cancer is at an advanced stage, Santiago says she expects to be cured in 6 weeks through chemotherapy that has been reduced to a tablet called molecular targeting. She jokes taking it once a day has made her grow prettier every day. She says, "I don't smoke, I don't drink, commit adultery. I only tell lies to my husband." She explains she doesn't have to undergo traditional chemotherapy because of a behavioral mutancy, in her words, a form of genetic mutation in her cells. She adds she's so disciplined, even her cancer cells are, quote, showing discipline. It may take 6 months for the full results of her treatment to be known, according to Senator Santiago. The news stuns the public. Before the press conference, there was speculation she might announce her political plans for 2016. For our social media post of the day, support pours in for Senator Santiago from social media. The hashtag #MiriamFight trends on Twitter. At MJA Navarro refers to her as the Iron Lady of Asia. At Ann_Gundran commends her for embracing her condition without having to resort to wheelchairs and braces. And at the Avengers warns cancer to watch out for Miriam. Malacanang says it doesn't regret implementing the controversial Disbursement Acceleration Program, or DAP, a day after the Supreme Court declared 3 specific acts unconstitutional. DAP was initiated in 2011 by the executive branch to transfer unused funds from slow-moving projects to projects that had immediate needs. The government said it was meant to boost the economy, but critics questioned whether or not it was constitutional. The High Tribunal has yet to release its full decision on DAP. Presidential spokesperson Edwin Lacerda says the government acted in good faith and did not misuse the funds. He also says Filipinos benefited from DAP. He adds, "How does one regret a decision to help thousands of people, of our countrymen?" Senator Jinggoy Estrada alleged that money from DAP was distributed to senators for the impeachment of former Chief Justice Renato Corona. Following the Supreme Court's decision, various groups called for the resignation of Budget Secretary Butch Abad. Senator Miriam Santiago hits Malacanang, saying the palace cannot defend an unconstitutional act by saying it acted in good faith. On Wednesday, the Ombudsman says it will investigate possible offenses under DAP. The court declared unconstitutional the creation of savings prior to the end of the fiscal year and the withdrawal of these funds for implementing agencies, the cross-border transfers of savings of the executive department to offices outside it, and the funding of projects not outlined in the General Appropriations Act. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, extends the visiting hours at the Camp Crame Custodial Center after it was criticized for violating its own rules. Detained suspects can now receive visitors in the afternoon Tuesday to Friday and all-day weekends. This means longer visiting hours for detained Senators Bong Revilla Jr. and Jinggoy Estrada, both of whom face charges for a massive fund diversion scandal. Previously, those who were in detention had only 2 days for regular visits and 1 day for special visits. On Saturday, journalists staking out the custodial center were surprised to see visitors entering the center past the visiting hours. The PNP said it allowed a request by Senator Estrada to celebrate his wedding anniversary. Former First Lady Imelda Marcos would like to see her son as president. As she celebrates her 85th birthday Wednesday, Marcos says she still hopes to, quote, bring more help to the Filipino people. She adds returning to Malacanang, quote, would be a great help in implementing her plans and projects. Mrs. Marcos says her son, Senator Ferdinand Marcos Jr., known as Bongbong, is qualified to run for president in 2016. Marcos became the symbol of excess with a jet-setting lifestyle, a vast jewelry and art collection, and thousands of shoes collected during the 21-year regime of her late husband, Ferdinand. The government estimates the Marcoses plundered about $10 billion from government coffers. A people power revolt in 1986 sent Marcos and his family into exile in Hawaii, where he died 3 years later. The Marcoses eventually returned to public office and has regained significant political clout. With the Philippines inside the Pacific Ring of Fire, is Manila prepared for an earthquake? Officials hold a city-wide drill. David Losada reports.
The sound of sirens fills Rojas Boulevard. A magnitude 7.2 earthquake just hit Manila. Residents evacuate buildings as responders rush to fires and vehicular accidents caused by the quake. Luckily, this is just an earthquake drill by the city of Manila. The drill assumes two scenarios: the movements of the West Valley Fault System, a major fault line running through Metro Manila, and the Manila Trench, which stretches from Mindoro to Taiwan. Both scenarios bring catastrophe to the historic city. Philippine Institute of Volcanology Director Dr. Renato Celedum says quakes are very real threats to the city. Based on their study, around 31,000 people will die if the West Valley Fault alone moves.
Doon sa West Valley Fault, napag-aralan na namin ito noon na in the past 1,400 years, 4 na beses na itong gumalaw, and on the average, between 400 and 600 years. In our lifetime, baka gumalaw ito. So, ang issue is dapat maganda tayo, no? At hindi tayo maunahan na mangyari man yung lindol na to.
Around 80% of public and private establishments in the city participate in the drill, but not everyone takes it seriously. Some do not follow the right evacuation routes. Some take selfies and photos during the drill. Manila Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Chief Johnny Yu says this is a problem in every emergency drill.
Marami ho talagang hindi nagiging serious. Nagiging seryoso na lang po sila pag nandyan na yung actual scenario. Our city government is ready to respond, pero kulang pa ho. Hindi ho namin kakayanin po ang 3.5 million na population ng buong Maynila. Sabihin na po natin, isama na po natin ang buong City Hall na 2,500 to 3,000 government employees. Hindi pa rin ho namin kaya. Ang kailangan po natin dito is not only us, the Manileños, na sumusuporta sa Manila. We need all the resources.
But he believes the drill is one step nearer to building a more resilient city. With the citywide drill, Manila hopes its response teams and residents will be more prepared when an earthquake strikes. But officials say, even with good preparation, there's still no telling what future disasters can bring. When the real test comes, Manila hopes it will be ready. David Lozada, Rappler, Manila.
Pope Francis appoints a Filipino Archbishop envoy to the United Nations. Philippine Archbishop Bernardito Cleopas Auza replaces Indian-born Archbishop Francis Chulicat. A native of Talibon in Bohol, Auza was the Vatican's apostolic nuncio or ambassador to Haiti. The Archbishop had served in Bulgaria and Albania and was part of the Vatican's mission at the UN in New York. A French court charges former President Nicolas Sarkozy with corruption and influence peddling. This comes after Sarkozy was questioned for 15 hours Tuesday, marking the first time a French former head of state has been taken into custody in a criminal investigation. If convicted, he could face a sentence of up to 10 years in prison. Sarkozy denies the charges. He's accused of abusing his position by promising a high-ranking judge a prominent position in Monaco in exchange for information about a probe into illegal campaign funding. Investigators tapped Sarkozy's phones following reports former Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi and L'Oreal heiress Liliane Bettencourt financed Sarkozy's 2006 007 campaign. The case could be devastating for Sarkozy's hopes of a political comeback in time for the 2017 presidential campaign. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 4, Indonesians on social media welcomed the conviction of a former Constitutional Court judge. Akil Mokhtar was caught red-handed in October 2013 in a sting operation as he was about to accept $250,000 in bribes. A judge in Jakarta sentences Mokhtar to life in prison for damaging the integrity of the court. And at number 8, a hugely controversial Russian law banning curse words in media and the arts became effective Tuesday. The law is part of a Kremlin-backed drive to play up traditional values and root out swearing. It imposes hefty fines on offenders, up to 2,500 rubles or $72 for individuals, and up to 50,000 rubles or $1,460 for businesses. The law does not spell out what constitutes profanity. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Australian teenager Nick Kyrgios pulls off one of the biggest upsets in Wimbledon history, beating world number 1 Rafael Nadal in 4 sets to reach the quarterfinals. Kyrgios becomes the first wild card in 10 years to make the quarterfinals. He's also the first player ranked outside the top 100 to defeat a world number 1 since 1992. The defeat boosts 7-time Wimbledon champion Roger Federer's hopes of an 8th title. Federer was seeded to meet Nadal in the semifinals. In World Cup news, Belgium sends USA packing a 2-1 Tuesday as it advances into the quarterfinals thanks to extra time goals from Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku. This is the first time for Belgium to enter the quarterfinals in 28 years. Meanwhile, FIFA says Tuesday it will let Cameroon football authorities lead the hunt for 7 bad apples in the national team linked to match fixing at the World Cup. Cameroon Federation says it's determined to, quote, employ all means necessary to uncover any wrongdoing around Cameroon's World Cup game against Croatia. The Cameroon Football Federation says its ethics committee is looking into the allegations reported by Der Spiegel magazine that a convicted match fixer correctly predicted the 4-0 victory by Croatia and that a player would be sent off. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page. That crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have affected our readers and viewers the most emotionally. If you take a look, these 10 stories here have gotten the most number of votes on their mood meters. Let's take a look at some of them. One of the last stories, Imelda Marcos and son plot to regain Malacanang, the presidency. 12% happy, 64% angry. And the story you just saw in the earthquake drill, interestingly enough, you have a large 75% afraid, 9% sad. That gray bringing out the story. The 3 stories that have to do with Senator Santiago. Top story that's gotten the most number of votes is her announcement, the senator's announcement today that she has lung cancer. You can see, interestingly, a whopping 88% sad. That gray bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are sad. That is Rappler's Newscast for today, Wednesday, July 2, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.